My Twitter bio used to read, I write plays, short stories, novels, lyrics, letters, articles, pretty much everything but content. That was me being clever and also rebelling against the term content creator, which I, just like everybody else on social media, had previously used to describe myself. All over social media, people who should be referring to themselves as playwrights, filmmakers, novelists, epistolographers, etc. call themselves content creators, because things that should be referred to as plays, films, novels, letters, etc. have all become content. The word content is gobbling up other words the way brands and consumers gobble up, well, content. And in this whole mess, another word, one I love very much, has gotten lost, perhaps forever. Content. Content and content are homographs. They are spelled the same, but mean different things. Content, these days, means any kind of creative output, a song or video for instance, and content means, quote, a state of peaceful happiness. In theory, both are positive things and should coexist in harmony. Increasingly, they are at odds. Contents used to be what there was a table of on the first pages of a book, or on the opening screen of a DVD or Blu-ray. The contents were not the novels or movies themselves. You ate the contents of a jar, absorbed the content of a speech. Content wasn't the thing itself, it was the substance of the thing, a way of breaking it down. And if your jar was full or your DVD played smoothly, you were content. With the rise of the internet and the wisdom of Bill Gates, who wrote, "Content is king," the word content outgrew its britches. Nowadays, the contents aren't the chapters of the book or scenes of the movie. Content encompasses all of the books in the series, the movies based on them, the spin-off television shows, and the tie-in theme park rides and video games. As for the people who write those books, direct those movies and TV shows, and design those rides and games, they're content creators. No more grand titles like author or director. Everyone is the same thing, and everyone is doing the same thing, creating content. And they're not doing it out of love for the stories or the characters, at least not to the degree they used to be. Instead, they're doing it ostensibly for the fans, the consumers, so that they never stop consuming, because when you never stop consuming content, it's very hard to be content. And when you're content, you can move on from content, and the powers that be definitely don't want that. Indeed, nobody seems to be content anymore. Content is a kind of middle ground between unsatisfied and my cup runneth over, which has always been pretty closely tied to content. There was a time when we would watch or read our favorite series, the story would end, and maybe we wished for more, but we were grateful for what we'd been given. Sometimes we opted to imagine what else was possible in these worlds of these stories on our own, but we didn't feel entitled to more being produced just to sate our endless appetites. And if it didn't go exactly the way we thought it should, we didn't demand a do-over or seek to ruin the life or career of the person who had given us what we so loved in the first place. We were content to let it be. We are ourselves, as we become less and less content, becoming content. When we are inevitably over or underwhelmed by content, we express our content or discontent as content on our social media. This content is then consumed by others who either share our love for the content we're weighing in on, or just love content that expresses discontent. We're chasing views, likes, reactions, which is the same thing the content we're reacting to is doing, and we keep putting out new content about not being content to get more clicks. It's an endless cycle. There can be no contentment with endless content, and the more content we get, the less content we are ever likely to be. The most important word in that dictionary definition of content, which showed up alongside the Wikipedia entry for content when I googled C-O-N-T-E-N-T, is peaceful. Peaceful content is being destroyed by chaotic, insatiable content. Perhaps only one of those words can ultimately survive.